For so many visitors to our city, Derby is a fun, once-in-a-lifetime trip. But for the folks who work to put it together, it involves a lot more preparation.
Derby is a marathon experience for so many of us that you really have to pace yourself. I mean, you got to get the right amount of sleep, you got to hydrate, you got to eat at the right time.
From cleaning up our city to getting the right permits for vendors, Metro employees help make a lot of it possible. We'll share some of those stories coming up on the 502 Report. Welcome to this episode of the 502 Report. Derby and the Kentucky Derby Festival leading up to it are Louisville's time to shine. And someone who knows firsthand about the energy and potential of that time for our city is Louisville's Mayor Greg Fischer.
If you're from Louisville, you measure time days away from the Derby, days to the Derby, because of the huge amount of activity and excitement during that week and how it makes you feel. You know, it's a major rite of spring. So it's like we are coming into our prime. I love spring. It's the most beautiful part of the year. And what a way to showcase it. It is the most famous 2 minutes of sports. It is a global bucket list item. And for our city to be the host for it every year, you know, it helps our kind of global brand that's already growing. And they just say, what is going on in Louisville, Kentucky? And the Derby obviously represents so much of what's good for our city. So it's just a super, super exciting time of the year. So everybody puts a little extra pep in their step, cleans up so that we've got our spring cleaning going on to welcome the whole world here. It's just a really special time in our city. One of the things that's been a great addition to the Derby Festival was 7 years ago when we started our Give a Day week of service.
What a beautiful picture of our community, the compassionate community that is Louisville, Kentucky.
That reflects our city value of compassion, helping each other. And the idea was, let's have a race for compassion.
Let's have the bikes.
Careful, Dave.
Because during the Derby Festival, I mean, we race everything here. Obviously, the big race is beautiful thoroughbred horses, but we race turtles, we run for the rosé, we race mattresses through the city. But how about a race for compassion? And we would challenge other cities to see who can do the most good. And then, of course, the people actually in the Kentucky Derby Festival, those volunteers are putting in thousands of hours of community service to prepare for the Derby and then, of course, execute beautifully during that week. It's been amazing. We've had 45 cities visit us to benchmark our city value of compassion, many of whom gone back with their own concept around Give a Day.
Got it.
So not only has it done tremendous good here.
The kids will receive a bed frame, a mattress.
In 2017, we had 180,000 volunteers in acts of compassion during that week. So think about that. That's 1/4, 25% of the city's population. And so specific events like this remind people that we're all interconnected, we're all here to help each other, and you see that in any great city, and you certainly see that in our city.
For more information, go to mygiveaday.com. Thunder over Louisville is the official start to the Kentucky Derby Festival. Part of its planning involves getting the wide variety of safety officers from Indiana and Kentucky on the same page.
Thanks for being here.
Those who fail to plan to fail.
Good morning, I'm Mike Reardon. I'm the Air Boss and Air Show Director for Thunder over Louisville. I sit out on a balcony and control aircraft. If it works well, it's seamless, crowd loves it. When things go wrong, that's your job.
Well, we have Indiana State Police, Kentucky State Police, Jefferson County Sheriff, Louisville Metro Police, you have guard units, federal agencies involved.
For example, we had one plane lost their engine. Didn't know they lost their engine. They're in their maneuvers, all of a sudden they break out of their maneuvers. Okay, big red flag for us on the balcony.
There are many, many moving parts to make this happen. It's amazing it does.
And that's why we cannot overemphasize the critical nature of what you do and how important it is to have everybody in this room engaged for both days for us.
You have to be prepared for things to go wrong if you're in emergency services. We all hope nothing ever does, but if you don't plan, then you're unprepared, and that's not safe for the community or for the performers.
We need dive teams, we need the boats, and we need people to understand the air paths that are going to be flown all day.
This one's unique in many ways. It's what's called a remote show. Many air shows are at the airport. It's also over water, which makes it a little more difficult. And it's also a nighttime show as well. So it's a combination of a complex location, complex show. We're 25 days out. Let's get our heads in the game. This is coming. You've got your plans. You know how to do your job. And it's just to get everybody thinking along the same line.
In the weeks leading up to Derby, more than 500 permits and licenses are requested and granted from Louisville Metro government.
Department of Codes and Regulations, and we process and issue license and permits. Our primary is alcoholic beverage control. We're also responsible for ground transportation services throughout Metro, charitable organizations, vending, street vendors basically, and mobile food trucks. We have the door-to-door solicitors that we also issue permits to. We know that doing Derby is it's an economic boom for our city. So all the people that are into vending, they rush into our office, that temporary vending permit. They all have these different ideas, and then when they start the paperwork, start the process, and we start to check into everything, they all want the same location. Most popular location around Derby is between 4th and Central to Central and Taylor Boulevard. That area, everybody wants to vend there. We've had people making complaints about how there are people that are actually down there fighting for these particular locations.
It's the number of events. We have a lot of events every year, but as you're gearing up for Derby, they start rolling in. Every year, people would call about, why is this going to be blocked? Why did you block this street? I said, it's for the Derby. We did kind of give you like 150 years notice. Same Saturday every year. But from my side of the permitting, I'm just getting these things in. I'm shooting them out to the other agencies. I'm checking back with them. Is everything okay? Have you given your approvals? And it runs fairly smoothly. It's really the events you get throughout the year that aren't regular that can be more troublesome, because you get people who have never done an event, especially if it's a kind of a large size. You got to kind of hold their hands and walk through the process, and they get frustrated. Well, why do I got to call this person and this person? And I said, because you do.
We've had some very interesting complaints into our office as far as ground transportation services. It was a guy that called our office, and he wanted to complain on a cab driver. And the complaint was the cab driver had a goat in his trunk. So that was one that was like, okay, what do we do? What can we do about this?
For 6 years, I'd planned the traffic for Thunder and Derby and Oaks and the parade and a lot of these large events. Friday before every Thunder, I would run the route. And I'm coming down Preston, just a few blocks away from Main Street, and there's a huge hole in the middle of the road. And a guy digging the hole with this. I said, what in the world are you doing? He, well, we're fixing this whatever under the ground. And I said, do you know what tomorrow is? It's Saturday. I said, you're right. Do you know what's special about this Saturday? He's like, isn't that the Thunder over Louisville? I said, yes, it is. And this is where 5,000 cars or 10,000 are going to want to drive.
The craziest request, we also issued ABC license. There was a guy that came in the office. He wanted to apply for a door-to-door sales, peddler's license basically, and his product was moonshine. He wanted to go door-to-door selling moonshine. Like that's illegal, so we can't issue that permit. He was not happy, but we were able to help him out with getting a peddler's license, and his product changed. I'll say that.
You have the right to free speech, all your rights, but you don't necessarily have a right to a permit. Just because you want an event doesn't mean you get it.
If you've got an event you need a special permit for, go to louisvilleky.gov. From special no parking zones to road closure signs, ever wonder where those thousands of Derby Festival signs come from? The answer might surprise you.
Signs are involved in the Derby Festival for any parking restrictions or lane reductions. If an event like walks are going to take a lane of travel away, we will post any of those restrictions up and assist with the closures. The signs that we install are the reason that your car doesn't get towed. You're welcome.
Our Derby Special Event cards are installed from routes that are specifically planned out by LMPD. Our team of 12 makes sure that sign is properly installed. Sometimes we put them on rim stand signs for directionals to escort our guests from out of town to get to the expressways as fast as possible. Any typical standard day, we can start from 8 o'clock in the morning to sometimes 8 o'clock at night.
Here at our Newburgh facility, our fabrication department consists of 3 people that maintain all the signage throughout Metro. We use a lot of cardboard and a lot of red paint.
Once the Derby Festival event is over, we will take all of the signs down and we will reuse them year after year.
We put up over 7,000 signs. Please do not take them down because this is letting you know that this area is restricted. We would not like to get you towed and have you come look out for your car in the morning.
Switching gears from paper to gadgets, the Department of Information Technology supports a variety of kinds of communication during the Derby Festival season.
People will call you when things are going right. There we go. Hey dude, we have an existing wireless bridge that we use for Derby for communication for the cameras in the infield in the paddock area for LMPD, and it was not fast enough, so we had a piece of equipment that we thought would do a better job, and that's what we're here to do today. I'm in the data closet right now. Why don't you come in here? Okay, thanks man. Bye. Pretty much anything that has to have a network connection, I take care of. It's really important for me to make sure that that throughput is available, and if there's anything else I can do, if there's anything else I can do to improve that, I will. Off we go. We know that the bridge that was in place has been here for a while, and it's not as fast as the bridges that we're going to be putting in today. There it is, the tiny little bridge we're going to have to replace. This, the mounting kit. That's the bad boy right there. We build the roads that allow their communications to travel. We had to have Fischer buy a whole new bracket up there just to hold the weight of this thing. We have to put it on the side. You're gonna take the old one down first, right? Okay, cool. All right, give me a holler when you got that one disconnected. I'm happy that we're upgrading this throughput. It's a beast, and it's fast. That's what we want. There's 3 other guys on my team, and you get to visit places that you wouldn't normally get to visit. Get to be on a lot of rooftops. Take a lot of cool pictures, and I think it's fun. The work that we're doing today provides a better solution for them during derbies. I'm kind of proud of the work anyway.
There's an interesting new structure coming out of the ground at 4th and Main Streets. It celebrates a legacy and promises to be an unforgettable landmark.
So behind me is our newest Bourbon District piece of wayfinding, and it's the barrel.
The barrel is supposed to emulate the white oak barrel, which is the required materials for storing and aging bourbon.
So as bourbonism really began to take traction downtown, and we had a diversity of attractions, including distilleries and the Fraser, we really knew that we needed to bring it all together for both tourists and our local folks who come downtown alike, and really do some wayfinding and some education and let everybody know where they were. And this is really one of our iconic features of our Bourbon District.
It was quite an engineering feat to figure out how you make a 15-foot tall barrel ring that people can walk through and interact with.
We've got a pretty grand sculpture here. The actual materials are pretty interesting to the sculpture itself. What you see facing us are concrete casts that have been pressed into wood reliefs from actual trees. The inside is going to be lined with a black aluminum that's supposed to reflect the char of the inside of a bourbon barrel. And then the outside is lined in a Corten steel that's kind of rusted, and it's supposed to mimic the metal hoops that wrap around a barrel. So we think it's a pretty accurate representation of what a barrel's made out of, and it's pretty fun.
It took a lot of artistry, and it took a lot of thought and engineering.
Solid Light Inc. designed, fabricated, and is installing the barrel. We always wanted to work with a local company like Solid Light. We've been very impressed with the work they've done in the past, which has spanned from museum interactive experiences to actually the Evan Williams Bourbon Experience on Main Street, so they already had some bourbon background.
We create visitor experiences, and we design and build them. We're a full service company, so we have researchers and writers, project managers, graphic designers, 3D designers, interior designers, architects. So we're creating a whole space, sometimes inside, sometimes outside, that tells a story. It is meant as an anchor point for the Bourbon District, and a photo op, and a way for people to really interact. And it was meant to be playful. It was meant to also honor the industry that has been so important to Louisville.
As we've all seen, we're having a huge renaissance in the bourbon industry, and that's what the barrel's supposed to celebrate, is that renaissance. We want to honor the distilleries that have decided to come to downtown Louisville and give all the visitors and downtown employees and residents something to be excited about.
What I love most about downtown Louisville is how many different waves of things we've had happen here that are interesting and intriguing. We had a museum district develop, we've had arts organizations all cluster here. Now we have some bourbon attractions, but each layer of these things just makes our experience and everybody's experience of our downtown richer and better and just way more positive and extremely Louisville.
3, 2, 1.
Keeping Louisville clean and green is a job of Brightside's 5 full-time staff members, but it's one they couldn't do without thousands of volunteers and partners like McFerrin Elementary.
Sometimes you don't always have to get paid to do something to help out the community. The students all know that their environment is where you work, live, play, and go to school. We have a program that's called the McFerrin 1 Mile Walkers Club. The idea of this program is to promote health, wellness, and community service. So on Fridays, we do something that's called our environmental walk.
We are going to clean up our environment today.
So if we go outside, is that our environment?
Yes.
Is this classroom our environment?
Yes.
How important is it to clean our environment? I'm hoping that it would instill with them that this is their community. Even though it's their school, but it's their community, and it will help them take pride in their community. So in order for them to be able to come out and have a successful day and try to remain healthy is to help keep their environment clean. That's what we do. We are McFerrin 1 Mile Walkers Club. Exactly. Today we did the backside. This is our playground area. We did all around the field. I get touched by this because this is where I went to school at.
Right.
Remember, only paper, plastic, no bottles, no sticks, no cans, no rocks. I tried to include all grades to do this sometime during the school year. And with the help of Operation Brightside, we're able to wear our Litter is Lame t-shirts. They provide us with gloves and bags, and we come out and we do a walk around the school. This is their environment. It will help them understand that by keeping their community clean, that it helps keeps them healthy and safe. Go to the hill.
Go to the hill.
Do not go to the fence. And stop. People come to our city all the time because we are the coolest city. To me, it shouldn't just be just for Derby, but that's excellent that it is. It's something that should be done on a regular basis. Louisville is a beautiful city. We have beautiful people who care about their city. So we try to do it as often as we can. This is just our beginning today to get it started for the week of April 16th. When I first heard about Mayor's Give a Day, I wanted to be involved with that, but I wanted to find a way to include the students. When I found out that I could get t-shirts and other supplies, that would be a fun way to include the students with Operation Brightside and talk and help teach them about the environment. A boom boom, you gotta raise your legs up. A boom boom, side to side. A boom boom, side to side. We don't keep it clean. Who will? That's just what we do. We try to keep it clean, not only here at school, but at home as well. It will help them take pride in their community. It will help them understand that by keeping their community clean, that it helps keeps them healthy and safe. They become community helpers. I totally agree with community service, so I just think that that's something that will stay with them from kindergarten all through college, through life. Not only just cleaning up, but to be healthy as well. Just being able to be out here and keep it clean and learn to eat healthy, all of that, and they can walk outside their home and be proud that their home is clean, the school grounds are clean. It's just a perfect way to grow up.
If you're interested in joining the April 14th cleanup, call 574-4167. This year, several metro departments had the added challenge of cleaning up after the floods. From 40-pound carp to even parts of a house, Metro Parks had extra work to clean up the riverfront for Thunder.
This is our main park, Cox Park, one of the bigger ones along the riverfront. This is also the one that took the blunt of the high water. Everything's out of commission. There's no electric. We turned the water on recently just so we can clean like this. 3/4 of the way up on the roof, there's the mark where the mud is still there. There's still a lot of sediment back in there. We've rented some equipment. We've got a bucket loader, we've got a backhoe, and we've got a skid steer loader, trying to get the mud, make sure we can keep the park open and cleaned up. It took us 2 days to clear the boat ramp off after the water went down, so that's how much mud there was there.
We were using it to clean up. Now we got to get it together for the snow coming tonight because it's one of our snow vehicles.
There's no power to the park. We have to go through the entire electrical system of both buildings. There's a light pole on the ground right there. That's one of these parking lot lights right here. We can't do anything until those are all inspected for safety. There was 11 people here today. Trying to look into other avenues and maybe getting some help up here to get this cleared out a little quicker. We'd like to get it cleaned up as soon as possible.
Metro Parks hosts RV parking and tent camping at Eva Bandman Park along the Ohio River, Friday and Saturday of Thunder Weekend. Call 574-7275 to learn more. The festival is a unique food and music experience, but did you know that Metro Parks staff helps build and deliver the picnic tables for that event? And they even deliver the bleachers for the Pegasus Parade.
We are at Northwest Maintenance. We have our bleachers stored here for the Pegasus Parade. We pick them up on the Monday before the parade, bring them down to Broadway, level them, clean them, get them ready. 6 people for the aluminum and 10 for the wooden. Once the final float goes through, we come in behind them with 15 or so trucks and trailers, pick these up, and deposit them up here. We have to get them out the same night. Thursday night, we work until they're done. Last year it was approximately 1 a.m. That's what we do. It's a lot of fun for us. We get to watch the parade and then get to it.
Metro Parks staff also builds, maintains, and delivers more than 100 wooden picnic tables to the waterfront for KDF events. Seneca Golf Course, the 6th toughest golf course in Kentucky, hosts a popular KDF competition that's now in its 29th year.
Right now, it's just kind of a sleeping giant. It's been a rough, long winter. Some folks are really dying for Mother Nature to break and get a little bit of a good day.
We can't wait. We play every week.
A lot of anticipation right now. There's been a lot of work done through the winter. So it's really just kind of waiting to take off.
Every year, I believe we play in it.
It's a $1 million hole-in-one event that is now hosted here at Seneca Golf Course. There's actually a pavilion that has been constructed out there. They're set up with food and beverage and a lot of volunteers through the festival.
You battle the elements, you battle yourself.
Well, it goes to charity, and we like to hit it close to the hole. That's the biggest enjoyment, isn't it?
Yep.
There's been many that have tried in that 29-year period. We probably averaged 300 people just a day for the portion of the Kentucky Derby Festival hole-in-one contest. The event starts April 19th and runs for 10 days through April 29th, where people qualify to become one of the 56 finalists to compete for one swing for $1 million.
Yeah, I could use $1 million. I really could. I really could. Maybe I'll give you some.
Maybe we'll retire.
And everybody's excited about trying to make $1 million. Some of them take it probably a little more serious than they need to. It's basically about $1 per ball. If you spend $20, you get 25 balls. Closest we had one year, a gentleman hit it 10.5 inches, and he lipped the cup, and it looked like it was going in. So it would be just marvelous if somebody picked up that $1 million check.
A little bit of heckling goes on too, but everybody seems to enjoy themselves.
Come, spend some money for a good cause, Kentucky Derby Festival, and then practice that 150-yard shot. And maybe going to church on that Sunday before would be a marvelous idea.
This year's hole-in-one competition starts at the Seneca Golf Course at 10 a.m. on April 19th. Thanks for watching this episode of the 502 Report. Until next time, take care.
Metro TV, a public service of Louisville Metro Government.